Welcome to the Jeremy Hill Show. If you're easily triggered, leave now because this is not the show for you. Now, what I have for you is an update to that infamous Cheesecake Factory self-entitled date. That woman who was complaining because a man took her to the Cheesecake Factory and she got upset because she thinks the Cheesecake Factory is beneath her. Now, I have her in a live interview with the dude that took her there. Now, I'm using this clip out of fair use and for educational purposes, educating you that you cannot take out just any kind of 304. So let's go ahead and get into it, and you let me know what you think about this in the comments. Let's rock with it, y'all. Come on.
And here we are. Alicia, it is a pleasure to meet you.
Yes, thank you.
Jay, pleasure to meet you. Welcome to the show, and thank you guys for being willing to come here and have this dialogue. I'm sure you guys have gotten a lot of flack, maybe even some backlash and things of that nature from this video going viral.
Well,
Before we get into it, we're going to take a moment and just relook at that video. It's been a couple of weeks, so here we go right here.
yeah. Nothing. I'm just talking to my girls. Okay.
Tell them I said hi.
Yeah. Whew.
Let me just get the door for you.
Okay. He got me at the Cheesecake Factory, y'all. I ain't getting out this car. Yes.
Would you want me to open the door for you?
Look.
Are you're recording me?
Yeah. Yeah. This is the Cheesecake Factory. This is the Cheesecake Factory, y'all.
What's the problem with that?
This is a chain restaurant. Who takes someone that looks like this to a chain restaurant?
You want to talk about it?
First off, this woman is not going to lock me out my own car. Okay, she locked him out his own car because she was displeased with going to a chain restaurant. There are a lot of people, celebrities, who go to the Cheesecake Factory. And those dishes are not as cheap as she may want to make it seem. This woman right here is an ungrateful thought. A musty-back heifer in my most humble opinion. Let's keep going. This is just a recap of the video that went viral, and then they're going to get into the interview between this gentleman who was mistreated by today's modern-day black woman.
I'm fine with talking about it, even in front of them.
Oh, yeah, I want to talk about it.
Yeah.
Come on, get up on in the car. Yeah, we're going to talk about it. Oh, okay.
Okay. So,
yes, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
So you expect a man to go all out on the first date. Is that right?
I mean, you're supposed to. When you take out a beautiful woman and you're courting her, because I get courted. So you're courting her, right? You're supposed to take care of her. You're supposed to cover her. You're supposed to protect her, cherish her, treat her well, right?
Yeah.
That's what you're supposed to do.
I agree.
At the
went
Cheesecake
into this
Factory?
date as I expect, with the expectations for myself, to keep you safe, you know, to respect you, to pay for your food, of course, pick you up, of course, and just treat you like a gentleman, which I believe I have done.
I mean, you've been pretty nice, but I mean,
and then
Cheesecake Factory.
I, on the other hand, have certain expectations for a girl. I go,
First off, if you got to explain all of that on the first date, haven't even went into the damn restaurant yet. If you have to explain all that as a man on the first date, it's already a failure. Okay? I would have left her in that parking lot or something else would have happened, but I would have ditched her and got me another chick that don't have this type of messed up attitude. That is a horrible way to be and a terrible way to treat people, lady.
out with on the first date. I expect her to be respectful too. I expect her to be cooperative, and at least
What did I do that wasn't cooperative?
Well, I mean, like even like when we were walking to the car, you wouldn't put your hand around my arm or anything like that, or hold my hand or anything like that.
I mean, it's too early for that.
Okay,
I
yeah,
don't know
and
you.
I
Yeah.
can respect that. I can respect that.
Okay.
When I got to your apartment to pick you up, you didn't want to invite me in. I can respect that too. We're not
Again,
maybe
I don't
we're
know
not there.
yet.
All right. You keep saying in your defense, Cheesecake Factory thought that the reason why you didn't show simple gestures towards a man is because you don't know that man. But keep in mind, you still don't know this man, but you expect him to take you to a fancy, high-priced restaurant where they may be spending over $150 to $200 a plate. So why can't he say that he didn't know you that well? I would have took your ass to Whataburger.
Okay. And then, but
I mean, I feel like I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do as a woman.
But
I got myself all made
There's nothing
up.
wrong with the Cheesecake Factory, right?
Yes, there's a lot wrong with the Cheesecake Factory.
Okay. Well, look at my plan where we were gonna go originally.
See, now that's where we should have went. All right there. Call him.
No.
What do you mean no?
See,
I know
I
you
specifically
didn't.
told you both yesterday and this morning that I'd come to pick you up at 4 p.m. Right? And I got to your place at 4 p.m. You didn't even come downstairs for another hour, and so I was waiting downstairs
I understand.
for an hour. Right?
But I wasn't expecting for work to take me so long. I got home.
All right, he's a simp. But I'm not talking about the bad kind of simp. I'm talking about the simp that's just naive and gullible and have a good heart, and any woman can take advantage of him, because this woman is not a beautiful woman as you want to say. In my most humble opinion, I'm not trying to put her down, but I've seen, in my opinion, more attractive women than that. And if the man already had plans to take her to a better restaurant where the prices was going to be higher, because you see her approve of the plans that he made before they came to Cheesecake Factory, but she had him waiting downstairs for over an hour. Had she met him on time, she would have went to another restaurant and we wouldn't have this viral video of her complaining and griping. Okay? This is her fault.
A little late, and like I said, I don't know you well enough to invite you up into my apartment, and that is not possible.
And that's why I'm thinking, okay, if we're not there in the relationship to, meet at your apartment, then maybe we're not ready in a relationship for such a nice fancy restaurant as Aria, especially if I'm paying for the whole thing.
Right.
Which I'm still willing to do.
I
I
mean-
would have been,
Okay.
but if we're late, I told
we
you
weren't
twice.
late. It wasn't that late.
We literally
Come on.
left your place at the time the reservation was supposed to be. And I specifically said 4 because maybe we could get there early and even have some time to get to know each other on the way there and while we're in the parking lot
I mean,
and waiting for a reservation.
we can still get to know each other. Isn't there another restaurant you can call that, like, it's
No.
equivalent to that? I mean,
I literally
you
just
don't
said,
understand. Look at me. I cannot go in the Cheesecake Factory.
there's nothing wrong with
I
that.
will die.
Girl, you overweight. You overweight right now. It look like you've been to several Cheesecake Factories before he picked you up.
That's
Okay.
embarrassing.
Listen, as I said, I have very specific certain expectations for that.
No.
I can tell it's not gonna be there. And maybe we're not right for each other.
Right.
So respectfully, I'm gonna just drop you off at home.
Oh, no, he didn't.
Yeah, I'm up.
So,
Dump
you just want to call it a night? I mean,
Yeah.
isn't there some kind of compromise or something? Ladies, can you believe this?
It's that attitude, ladies. Dump her. See, all you women up there saying, well, if the passport bros can go overseas to get them a woman, I can go get me a man of a different ethnic group. Now, I want you to notice something. He's a different ethnic group, and he shut her down quick. Just that first opportunity of seeing that nasty ass attitude, and he politely said, we may not be right for each other. That's his way of saying, get the hell out my car. I don't want to ever see you again. Ladies, modern women, black women in particular, I'm trying to tell you something. That attitude is not going to work in any ethnic group. A black man would have sat next to her and dealt with that, because majority of the time he going to want to do everything he can to be thirsty, desperate to get between her thighs. He would have put up with it, would have said, oh, where's it go over here? Okay, baby. Not all black men, but a lot, especially the lower tax bracket or the pookies. And I'm not saying nothing to disrespect nobody, but men who actually have a lot of things, assets, substance, they don't pick these type of women. And if they do, they are not going to tolerate this type of attitude. So ladies, modern day black women, the way you treat black men will not be accepted in other ethnic communities. Get that through your head.
I'm sorry, y'all.
Please,
But
other parking space.
I if I don't feel respected, I am not gonna go through with the rest of the day.
Well, I mean, you are serious. You really leaving?
Yeah. I mean, you didn't want this place anyway, right?
I mean, I understand that I was late. I understand that. I
Disrespectful.
understand that I could have been a bit more cooperative. You made some good points. That's why I'm.
Disrespectful. And look at her eyes. Now she got what we call in the country crocodile tears, meaning like you're about to cry, because this man stood his ground, let his sack hang, and said, I'm not putting up with this. Now, this is what a lot of black women tend to do. After you have put them in their place, because like it or not, he put her in her place right then by walking away. The most powerful thing you can do to any woman is walking away and let her know you don't need that woman. That puts her in her place, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just letting you know, you can get you another woman. Now, this is what a lot of these type of women do. They'll try to flip what you said, gaslight what you said, manipulate you by saying things like, you made a lot of valid points, I can see what you're saying, because she still wants to go out to eat. Her end goal is to still get this man to go in his pocket and pay for a meal. She done gotten dressed up, took over an hour. Got her hair fixed up, took over an hour. Got her makeup put on, took her over an hour. Had the man sitting downstairs waiting on her for over an hour. Now she take her musty back heifer butt into the car. And then when they get to the destination that he wanted to take her to, is past that time. So now he got to go to the Cheesecake Factory. He could have just said F it and left. I never wait on a woman for an hour. I would never will. You lucky you had this type of man who did that. So that man waited over an hour of his time that he'll never get back. And then when you get in the car after you late for an hour, then you're going to be talking crazy, lock him out of his car, being disrespectful to him. No one will ever be with you.
Willing to compromise. Are you sure you want to go home?
I don't have a lot of rules. I don't have a lot of expectations for a first date, but I've already set them, and you've broken every one.
Oh
So,
my God.
I'm sorry. We're dropping you off home.
Deuces.
All right, whatever. Well, I mean, I guess I understand. You got to do what you got to do.
Go eat a Lunchable. Go eat a Lunchable. Ham sandwich. You ain't getting no Cheesecake Factory or anything else.
I'm sorry. I understand where you're coming from.
It don't matter. Sorry, don't matter. You still getting dropped off.
So, now here we are, a few weeks later. I'm sure you've had some time to think about what you guys discussed.
Before I go any further, I want you to take a look at how big this woman is. This woman about the size of a quarterback. Now man, them filters and them angles on them camera. Look at that woman's arms. Her arm is longer than that man's legs. Her head is bigger than both that dude in the middle and the other dude put together. And this woman said, look at me, I get courted. Do you mean basketball court? Because you fit in that. You pretty much fit the whole basketball court. Let's keep going.
It's in the car. I'm sure you've had some time to think about it. Before I ask you any questions, have you guys had a second date?
No.
No second dates.
Not yet.
Okay. So I'll start with you, Jay. What has dating been like for you since that video went viral?
Since I was on the video, kind of unexpected. I might not have put my best foot forward, and so I feel like, I've not really met anyone since who I've really gotten to get to know like that, because a lot of women, they might have seen the video or might have heard from it, or maybe a friend of them has seen the video and shares it with them. And
so this woman embarrassed this man, and he is still a gentleman because he said he still takes some of the responsibility. This is a simpish thing. He's a good-hearted guy, but he's kind of simpish. He still takes on the blame for this. He said, maybe I didn't put my best foot forward. No, you did the right thing by dropping her off. It was her who didn't put her best foot forward. And ladies, this is the type of women that represent a lot of black women in our black communities. You may not agree with that, but this is what a lot of men are seeing and also are experiencing. Women who are not grateful, they're unthankful, they're unappreciative, always complaining, always badgering, fussing about every little thing. And we've been saying that through the manosphere for I don't know how long. You got people like me and other content creators who are men who say the same thing, and you still push back and say, nah, that ain't happening. It's your fault. As you absolutely can see, this is this woman's fault.
And so they kind of had this image of me based on the video.
Absolutely.
And it hasn't really helped.
Okay.
Exactly. It's like they might think everything about me is reflected in that video, and I don't think it is. And but yeah, it's been difficult.
Sure.
Well, and it's even before this, dating has already been difficult for me.
I imagine your views kind of clash with what you're looking for and what they're looking for.
Yeah, I think so. Because, I think in general, my values kind of reflect wanting to build something that lasts.
Yes, sir.
He said the right word, values. See, a lot of today's American black women, in my most humble opinion, do not want a man with values. I talk about this all the time in a lot of other different videos, having principles, having scruples, having values. This is what you would consider possibly to be a good man. But this woman doesn't want that. She would go to the Cheesecake Factory with Pookie, Ray Ray, Nook Nook, Tyrone, Kiki, Keisha, Shaquita. She'll have no problem going to it then. But when there's a good, decent man who wants to treat you with respect and treat you as this quote unquote queen, you shit on him. This is what you do. This is how you can turn a good man's heart cold as ice. This man's views on dating has been skewed because of what you doing to him. He got a taste of what a lot of black men are tasting in the black community right now with their own women.
And I want to make sure that anyone that I meet is willing to build a really strong foundation based on our mutual values. And I think it in general, a lot of the people that I meet, either they don't have time to set towards building something like that, or they just don't want to because, they're younger, they want to experience, casual dating or whatever it is. And it's just not something that I'm looking for right now.
Understood. So obviously, guys, Jay's saying that they're viewing him in a negative light when it comes to dating. When I saw Jay, I saw someone who was making some excellent points, who knew what he wanted, and he's actually now like a Giga Chad in the manosphere world, in the red pill community. The brother's being mentioned everywhere for the way he handled that conversation. Now I'm going to ask Alicia as well, because during this conversation, Alicia.
Thank you.
We'll get that right. Okay, so Alicia, you didn't seem to really disagree with what he was saying. Now you had definitely a different opinion before he gave you his mind, right? But you seemed very receptive to it. Can you explain to me kind of what you were thinking and how you saw him in that video? Because he's saying they took him in a negative light. What do you think?
Well, yes, I think once we had the conversation, I could see my role in the conflict.
Okay.
Let's back up a little bit. To be fair, I mean, I was always raised that the man is supposed to cater to you. I mean, you're courting me, so court me.
Raising has nothing to do with it. This is what I can't stand about today's modern day women. They would not take responsibility. First, I was thinking, okay, she saw herself in the problem, she kind of takes some accountability. Then if you listen further, she flips that and say, no, it's somebody else's fault. It was my mama and my daddy's fault for raising me to be this way. I was taught that a man's supposed to cater to you and court you and stuff like that. Define that. Define that. Because I'm pretty sure that your parents, I hope they didn't, good Lord, didn't ever tell you if a man takes you out on a date, he need to spend at least $500 on the first date. He need to take you to the most expensive restaurant because you're so beautiful, you a queen. I don't think that's how that conversation went. This is what you wanted. This is what's in your heart. And you're dealing with a gentleman who wants to settle down, who wants to build a family, had an interest in you, and there could have been a possibility of you being happy, having a man who don't mind provide for you and having children with you and making you happy, but you pissed him off. So tell me, is that what your parents taught you?
That means wherever I want to go, you take me.
Absolutely.
Whatever I want, you buy me. That's courting. You know, I'm looking for a provider. So, but
Had one.
after the conversation, I could see how there was a lot of I
Okay.
in that exchange.
Absolutely.
I was definitely very self-centered, and I can appreciate if I do want someone to provide for me, I at least gotta be a little bit nice.
Absolutely. Okay. Okay, great. So now I ask you this. Based on your idea of dating before your conversation with Jay, how did you grow up? Who also thinks that way? I'm sure you have friends who think that way. I've heard it a lot.
I mean,
Okay, so-
everybody. I mean, that's what he's supposed to be, the provider.
Absolutely.
So, you know, and I'm a beautiful woman. So, I mean,
That's not providing. So, like I say, women are delusional. They don't know what shit is. Come on, man. Me taking you on the first date, taking you to the most expensive restaurant on the planet Earth is not me providing. Provision is something that is continuous. Provision isn't sporadic. You get what I'm saying? Provision isn't right now and then 2-3 weeks later I do it again. It's a continuous thing. And these type of provisions that these type of women are seeking are normally found in relationships where a man is consistently providing. So courting has nothing to do with provisions or protecting you for that matter either. If you go on a date and your ex-boyfriend come up and say, I don't like y'all, and throw a bussy in your head, he's not really obligated to interfere with that because you're not his woman. You are not his responsibility. Do you understand? Now, he can try to protect you. He can try to buy you things. But again, protection and provision is something that is continuous. It doesn't just start here and stop there and start again. So he has no responsibility to provide for you, especially on the first date or dating at all. That should come once the relationship becomes official, you dumbass. And I say that in the most nicest way possible.
expecting to be treated like royalty. I mean, come on. So that's
But the
what I was
kicker
doing.
is, how do we treat him? And that's
Right,
where the
right.
disconnect was.
Right.
In the video, now of course I'm sure you think of it differently now, but in the video you basically told him that, you know, you're not going in there, you know your value. It would be embarrassing for you to go inside a Cheesecake Factory. A lot of people like Cheesecake Factory.
Oh.
Now, so when I see that video, I'm thinking, okay, she must have some friends who probably would disagree with her going inside a Cheesecake Factory. Your peer group. So
I would
peer
never-
pressure probably keeps
I
you
would
from.
never live that.
That's right. She has friends that talk bad about Cheesecake Factory, so therefore it reinforces her negative ideal and feelings about going to the Cheesecake Factory. Like they say, single women keep women single. I'm going to say it like this. Toxic women keep women toxic.
Oh my God! I would have never lived that down.
Wow,
I
just
mean-
ate the Cheesecake Factory. They wouldn't let you live that down.
No, I have an image to protect.
Wow.
does not do that. I mean, that was, you know, that was my circle though. That's how.
Sure.
I mean, that's how we roll.
Sure.
I mean, to be quite blunt, that's how we roll. Hypergamy is a big thing in my.
I'm glad she's talking about hypergamy, but that is not hypergamy. That is being a selfish, ungrateful woman. Okay? Because hypergamy If you're really that much into hypergamy, you would never got in that vehicle with that man, because that man wasn't driving a Mercedes Benz or a Ferrari or a Lamborghini or a Bentley. It was just an average looking vehicle. So that has nothing to do with hypergamy. It just has everything to do with personal choice and having a feeling of self-entitlement, self-centeredness, and downright mean. She's a very mean-spirited, prideful, egotistical woman. You heard what she just said? I have an image to protect. Look at her. Just take a look at her. Where's the image? What image is? I don't see nothing there. You like a basic 304. The hair is fake. You got them big old loop earrings. You look like you're about 7 feet tall, sitting down. You got makeup all over you. And you might be a single mother. And you want to tell me you have an image? What image are you trying to protect here? You fool.
Circle is what I mean. It's what we've been taught. Why? I mean, as a black woman, I'm gonna go there. I mean, as a black woman, we're really tired of having to settle. We want to be treated well.
Mm-hmm.
We want that soft life. So that's what I thought I was going after. However, what I understand is a part of having a soft life is being cooperative.
Being soft.
Not being combative,
You're
right?
Actually being soft.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Being receptive, being
Right.
sweet,
Absolutely.
being pleasant, right? Because we do understand the value of resources, but it can't be just something for a lifestyle. Resources, a man's resources is not just for a woman's experiences and traveling, and the lifestyle they'll live when married is for providing for the family and the children. And that's why she should seek a man and, respect his resources or prioritize his resources, not just for what it can do for her.
Right.
And so when you were in the beginning of it, you was just saying, I'm not doing it. It seemed really selfish, right? And I appreciated that when I saw the video myself. That's one of the things I covered is, wow, I've never seen a woman that receptive to being accountable, right? And you were. But Jay, however, didn't want to go out on a date. He wanted to discontinue that date, and he wanted to take it on to the house. Jay, is that your first time stopping a date midway through and going on back home, or?
Yeah, something like that's
The first date he ever canceled because of a bad attitude was a date that he had with an Americanized black woman. Let that sink into your skull. He's never had to do this before with any other ethnic group, but the first time he did it, it was with an American black woman. Ladies in the black community, do you see what you're doing to yourselves and to other people? Do you see now why men are rejecting you? Men who have substance, men who have assets, the type of men that you scream that you want. Do you see why they are being turned off by you? She hasn't said anything about education yet. She hasn't said anything about her own personal resources. As I've often said, men don't care about any of those things. It's your ability to have a good attitude, to be pleasant around. That is what turned him off. It wasn't what she had or did not have. It wasn't about her education or lack thereof. It was her attitude. Your attitude, as they always said, your attitude determines your altitude. And ladies, a lot of y'all are crashing because of your mouths.
I'm sorry, at least, yeah. That's the first time I've really put my foot down to that kind of extent. But it's not like an isolated incident,
Okay.
you know? I've gone on dates with several people now, even before her, where they had very specific things they were looking for in a boyfriend or whatever. And even within my own circles, right? And that's just not something that I'm looking for, because I was raised like we were talking about how she was raised, whereas with me, my family, we've passed down the name for ages, and we're a very close-knit, strong family.
You passed down your first name, Jay? Like
Yes.
your father's and father.
Yeah,
How many
yeah.
generations, probably?
I mean, I couldn't really count it myself.
Wow.
Because the thing is, I'm from India.
Okay.
And the partition happened where India was separated from Pakistan, and a lot of my family were on both sides of that, and we had to come back together.
Wow.
And we had to it was very important for us to stay strong after the fact. At the time, maybe we didn't care as much about creating this legacy, but ever since, it's like that's been one of the strongest parts of our family. Is
So this gentleman wants a legacy, and this woman quite possibly has ruined her life behind this man, because he probably could have made her extremely happy, ladies and gentlemen. Extremely happy. 1 second, please. But she chose to go ahead and treat him badly. I want you to think about that. Now, I have about another 20 minutes of that interview. But what I'm going to do, because this is going to be a very long video if I did that, I'm going to make that into a live stream today. And we're going to cover and dissect everything that we just saw today. So tune in today at 5:15 Central Standard Time. Again, that is 5:15 Central Standard Time. And I'm going to go over this Cheesecake Factory update. And also, not only do I have that interview, but I also have other clips of this going on. Coming from the horse's mouth. That woman, that man that was on that date. I think you will love it. Tune in. And I'll be seeing you soon. Now, y'all have a good one now. You hear?